Good Tuesday evening and welcome to a special edition of the NCWLIFE Evening News live from the Washington State Apple Blossom Festival. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to tonight's top stories, let's take a quick look outside our weather window, and why not? We're showing you today the Apple Blossom Festival. We're going to be here through this week. Well, Thursday we'll have a special 1-hour edition of the evening news, and then for Friday we will be at Classy Chassis. And the weather, as we take a look at what we can expect heading into the end of the week, it looks like it's going to go downhill, unfortunately. We could see a lot of wind tomorrow, beginning tomorrow, especially in the Columbia Basin, I should say on Thursday. Tomorrow, by the way, is going to be fantastic, and then wet and windy for us here in the Wenatchee area on Saturday. Just in time, yes, for the Stamilt Growers Grand Parade, which happens on Saturday. And we'll talk much more weather coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. Highway 243 north of Mattawa was closed for more than 4 hours yesterday after a semi hit a guardrail and came to rest, blocking both lanes of travel on the highway. Winter snow and spring rains have north central Washington in favorable drought conditions heading into the 2022 wildfire season. And Chelan County Fire Chief Brian Brett updated the Chelan County Commissioners on the fire district merger between Douglas and Chelan counties. But first, our top story tonight. 2 people were transported to the hospital with minor injuries yesterday afternoon after a rear-end collision on Highway 97 at Orondo. The 3:45 p.m. accident near Orondo Elementary blocked one lane of the highway for about 2.5 hours. The Washington State Patrol said 49-year-old Leandra Alator Mendoza of Orondo was driving a Chevy Cobalt northbound when she slowed to turn left onto a private road. A Toyota Sienna also being driven northbound by 35-year-old Jose Mario Hernandez Cortez of Chelan ran into the back of that Cobalt. Both drivers were transported to Central Washington Hospital in Wenatchee, with Hernandez Cortez suffering undisclosed injuries and Mendoza with pain in her ribs and lower back. Hernandez Cortez was cited for distracted driving and driving without insurance. Well, Highway 243 north of Mattawa was closed for more than 4 hours yesterday after a semi hit a guardrail and came to rest, blocking both lanes of travel on that highway. The Washington State Patrol said there were no injuries in the Grant County collision, but the roadway had to remain closed for a fuel spill cleanup. The semi hit the guardrail just after 5 p.m., and Highway 243 wasn't reopened until after 9 p.m. Well, winter snow and spring rains have north central Washington in favorable drought conditions heading into the 2022 wildfire season. U.S. Drought Monitor maps show most of Chelan County experiencing no drought at this point, while Douglas and Okanagan counties are mostly in moderate drought conditions. And unlike last year, all of western Washington is showing no drought conditions. In May of last year, much of western Washington and Chelan, Okanagan, and Douglas counties were listed as abnormally dry or experiencing moderate drought. Thus far, wildfire season has not yet begun in Washington State, and Pacific Northwest incident management teams have been busy assisting on fires throughout Arizona, New Mexico, and eastern Oregon. Well, residents of the Wenatchee Valley will vote in August on whether to create a regional fire authority combining Chelan County Fire District 1 and Douglas County Fire District 2 into a single fire department. At the same time, another ballot measure will seek approval for property tax rates of $1.50 per $1,000 worth of property value, and that's an average of a 20-cent increase for both districts. Fire Chief Brian Brett is overseeing both departments ahead of the proposed merger. He joined Chelan County Commissioners today to explain the need for that funding.
Aren't there efficiencies to be gained by combining that you could save expenses? And yes, there are. The administration will be less chiefs. There won't be redundancy in facilities, training, fleets, facilities, because we'll share them. And the reason for the increase in funding is our growth has went up 45% in the last 5 years in AV. Our demand for services have went up 37% in the last 5 years. And our volunteer ranks on both sides have shrunk by 70%. And that's a national, state, and local trend. We're not an anomaly. So yes, we're going to save money in these other elements, but we're going to hire 8 firefighters from the bottom and shore up our aviation program, shore up our fleet replacement funds. And it's the same business model that was employed right after Wenatchee and Chelan One merged. Exact asks $1.56% for the next 5 years. The public generally says, well, yeah, it completely makes sense to combine, but why are you asking for an increase? Well, that's why our free labor pool is gone, and there's still a huge component of everything we do operationally, but we have to guarantee a minimum level of service from Rock Island throughout the valley. So we're going to hire people to do that and supplement it with our volunteer program.
When we come back, Chelan County Commissioners held a public hearing on a proposed wildfire ordinance, including summertime bans on exploding targets. Chelan County Fire District 1 over the weekend dedicated its Squilchuck Fire Station in the name of late Fire Commissioner and firefighter Mike Compton. East Wenatchee Police briefly took over calls for service this morning in the city of Wenatchee, but it wasn't because of any crisis in the Wenatchee Police Department ranks. 2 Methow Valley students won first and second place in a statewide history documentary competition. And there's a new story walk hike at Leavenworth's Barn Beach Reserve. I'm Grant Olson from Apple Blossom, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
The best pizza in the known universe is right here in downtown Chelan, so come on up. For the best locally crafted beer and barbecue in Chelan, come on up.
For the best down-home scratch country cooking in north central Washington, you'll find it in Manson. Come on up.
Come on up. Come on up.
Come on up.
Traditional values and innovation in honoring the life of each family we serve is part of the ministry of Heritage Memorial Chapel. Our staff is committed to walk with your family with compassion through this time of grief. We are here to help and here to serve, the right kind of help when you need it most. Heritage Memorial Chapel.
What is home? A place to gather, a place to grow, provide shelter for the ones we love, eat, drink, restore, build trust. It's a place to rest when the workday is done, a place to find quiet after a night of good fun. What an honor we have at Guild to help own, finance, create, pave the way to live in home.
Welcome back. In another news, exploding targets will be banned in Chelan County each summer if commissioners adopt a proposed new wildfire code. Chelan County fire marshals outlined the plan in a public hearing this morning. It would establish 3 stages of fire danger to better align with the systems used by other land-holding agencies, and it would outlaw fireworks and exploding gun targets each year beginning June 1st and extending as late as September 30th. Access to county roads would also be restricted based on the danger.
I'm personally very strongly in favor of road closures during critical fire times because times have changed in the last 20 years or longer. There's more people out there, obviously. Things seem to be getting hotter and drier, and vehicles, I don't want to put a moniker on people, but they park cars in grass areas. Motorcycles, ATVs have spark arresters on them, but still have a hot exhaust that can start fire. So I'm very strongly in favor of road closures. And I'm glad you guys, or the county, is doing this. And I hope the Forest Service can swing a little bit your way too.
Written public comment on the proposal continues through May 13th. Commissioners are expected to vote on adoption the following week. Chelan County Fire District 1 over the weekend dedicated its Squilchuck Fire Station in the name of late Fire Commissioner and firefighter Mike Compton. The new station replaces a 1975 building that had not been manned since 2017. Compton, who died in 2019 at age 70, had a 45-year career with Fire District 1. The district also dedicated the station's Engine 13 with what's called a push-in ceremony. The push-in tradition dates to the late 1800s when firefighters would push horse-drawn equipment into a station's bay. The new truck is a Pierce Arrow XT with 750-gallon water tanks and a 20-gallon foam tank. Well, East Wenatchee Police briefly took over calls for service this morning in the city of Wenatchee. But it wasn't because of any crisis in the Wenatchee PD ranks. Instead, it was because all available officers plus support staff gathered for an hour to have their photograph taken. Wenatchee Police Captain Edgar Reinfeld says it's been ages since the department had an all-staff picture taken. So at 7:30 a.m., the city's 40 police officers plus 7 staff and 5 volunteers posed for a group photo while East Wenatchee responded to calls. Reinfeld says the group photo was finished and all officers were back on duty after about an hour. Well, 2 Methow Valley students brought home top statewide awards for their video documentaries on American history. Lecky Albright and Ayla Belsby are both seniors at Liberty Bell Junior Senior High School in Winthrop. For National History Day, both submitted 10-minute videos on aspects of U.S. and world history. Lecky placed first, while Ayla placed second in the individual documentary category. Students from more than 30 schools competed in the Washington contest. Both Liberty Bell students will go on to compete in National History Day's nationwide contest, which will be held virtually. Well, as we go to break, a new Story Walk guided hike has sprung up in Chelan County, this one in Leavenworth along the Wenatchee River. Story Walk is a series of displays taken from illustrated children's books and placed at stations along a hiking trail to motivate young readers to engage with the outdoors. The featured book for this hike, which starts at the Wenatchee River Institute at Barn Beach Reserve, is Goodbye Winter, Hello Spring by Kennard Pock. WRI is the sponsor for the displays alongside North Central Washington Libraries and A Book for All Seasons. They were built with grant funding from the North Central Accountable Community of Health. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's Apple Blossom feature story with Wenatchee Police Chief Steve Crown and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Please stay with us.
At D.A. Davidson in Wenatchee, they believe your investment success begins with a personalized plan. A plan that is the roadmap you need to navigate your way to living your best years in retirement. D.A. Davidson can help you create a plan so you can take the time to enjoy the finer things in life. Let the financial advisors at D.A. Davidson help chart your retirement future today.
And welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Eric Granstrom, and joining us here in the park as we're broadcasting live today is the Wenatchee City Police Chief, Steve Crown. Steve, first of all, thanks for taking the time to join us.
Absolutely. Thank you for inviting me.
really great way to start Apple Blossom Festival is the Chief for a Day program. I know you're deeply involved in that. What a great day that was.
Yeah, I mean, it was super. We couldn't ask for better weather, maybe a little less wind, but all in all, the kids were great, had a great time with their families, getting prepared for it. It took months to get kind of prepared, and all of our little kids have got to have specially made uniforms. It all came together at the very end, and a lot of it had to do with our law enforcement officers that work with the families, making preparations and plans, and ultimately a big day that happens Thursday every year. It was quite awesome. Yep.
How's Apple Blossom been so far? I know we're not like we were back in the day when it was just a party atmosphere and there was extra police force brought in. How's it been?
So far, so good. I mean, we've experienced some ups and downs, and we're going to experience some more up and downs with the weather. But all in all, you take a look at the events that are planned on the Apple Blossom Festival webpage. There's a ton of stuff. There's so much for everybody to do here in town and in the valley. I do kind of like the fact that it got kind of spread out a little bit more. Because then anybody visiting our valley within 5 minutes can attend different events and be in a whole totally different environment if they want to.
It's got to be a challenge for you and local law enforcement too, because there's the public perception that oh well, it's no fun anymore. The police crack down and things like that. But it's a family festival, and you got to keep that in mind, right?
Yeah, I mean, back in the 90s and before that even, I mean, the biggest thing was cruising, and we've kind of transitioned over to more of that family environment, arts and craft. Classy Chassis has always been a part of it, and that's always an incredible event to go see some of those great vehicles and the amount of work that those craftsmen put into them. So there's a lot more to do, I think. You got the bicycle races that are going to happen all weekend. It's a super great event to still travel over here, take the time, and bring the family. And that's I think what all of the city government were after was to make it kind of more of a destination location with tons to do and a lot less of the crowd and problems that came along with the previous planning of it.
Real quick, I wanted to give you a chance to talk about something that's coming up next week with the Wenatchee School District and local law enforcement. A week from tomorrow, tell us learning more about gang activity.
Yeah, it's an opportunity for our school resource officers to put on a presentation, kind of talks a little bit about what gangs are, what signs to look out for, some of the things that any parent would want to know if they were seeing some changes in their children, attitude, dress, use of drugs, and some of the other things that come along with gang affiliation. Get that information out there, let them know a little bit about some of the policies that were put in place by both school districts at Eastmont and Wenatchee. So it's going to be informational.
Okay. Thank you very much for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Right. Glad to do it.
There you go. Chief Steve Crown joining us here on the NCW Life channel. And let's check and see what's happening with the local weather.
And thank you very much, Eric and Chief Crown. And kind of a mixed bag in our weather forecast today. We were wet yesterday and kind of chilly. The temperatures today, very comfortable. But, boy, we had to deal with that wind. Let's take a look at today's almanac for our Tuesday. And today we reach a high temperature of 68 degrees, and that's right where we should be for this year at 68. 46 our overnight low, 45 is normal. 87 record high in 1966. Sunrise this morning was at 5:41, and the sun sets tonight at 8:15. Let's take a look. Hopefully I can get it up for you, Malcolm. Tomorrow's temperatures, let's just hit it real quick. We will see highs generally between 70 and 75 degrees tomorrow. It is going to be a beautiful one all over north central Washington. We will see some high clouds out there tomorrow, but all in all, our temperatures are going to be above normal, and it's going to be very, very nice. Taking a look at what we can expect at still be a bit breezy overnight tonight and mild with high temperatures in the upper 50s. Getting you into your Wednesday forecast. As I mentioned, just beautiful. High clouds and warmer with high temperatures in the lower 70s. And then our roller coaster ride continues as we get you into Thursday. Thursday's temperatures aren't going to be bad with highs generally in the low 60s, but we will be mostly cloudy with a 50% chance for some rain showers Thursday. And then by Friday, things really take a turn. We will see cloudy skies, and believe it or not, we are not only going to have a chance for rain showers, we are going to see a chance for thunderstorms for Classy Chassis. I think most of our activity will really be about mid-afternoon, so hopefully we'll be okay for Classy Chassis, which we'll be broadcasting here on NCW Life Channel. Highs in the low 60s on Friday. Getting you into Saturdays, the Stamilk Growers Grand Parade, and yeah, it's going to be mostly cloudy, a 40% chance of rain, and notice the pink and red, that's wind, folks. We're going to see plenty of that on Saturday with high temperatures only in the upper 50s for Saturday. Getting you into the end of the Apple Blossom Festival, mostly cloudy skies. Will stay a little bit rainy, a 40% chance for rain with high temperatures on Sunday. Still cool in the upper 50s, and kicking off our next work week on Monday, not much change. Mostly cloudy skies, a 40% chance of rain with high temperatures near 60 degrees. So that's the way it looks. Let's take a look at our 7-day forecast now. And as we take a look at that, we will see some pretty nice weather as we get into tomorrow. 72, 63 on Saturday for the parade, 61 Sunday, and things go downhill in the upper 50s, and then 61 degrees by the time we start off your next work week. And that's a look at your local weather forecast from Apple Blossom. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCW Life Evening News continues right after this.
The Lake Chelan Rotary Club invites you to experience the newly expanded Cycle Chelan, held June 25th, 2022. Pick your thrill from 4 rides: the Century Challenge, Cycle Divino, the Lake Loop, or the Butte Blast. All profits from Cycle Chelan are used to support student scholarships of the Lake Chelan Rotary Club. Cycle Chelan 2022. Pick your thrill today.
Spring is more than just a time to clean. It's your time to renew, recharge, and spend time with the people you love. At Merry Maids, our cleaning services go beyond the basic services and provide you with a comprehensive clean that will re-energize your home and enhance your life. From everyday routine cleaning or deep cleanings, Merry Maids professional team members can provide you with an unrivaled experience. Call Merry Maids to schedule your cleaning today.
And now it's a sports update on the NCW Life channel.
And a happy Tuesday to you. Hope you're enjoying Apple Blossom Festival so far, along with Grant American. Let's talk sports, shall we? Jake Odorizzi was dominant, and the Houston Astros went deep twice in a 3-0 win over Seattle on Monday. Odorizzi and 3 relievers combined on a 5-hit shutout to the Mariners. Meanwhile, Marco Gonzalez battled for 6 innings, but did allow 2 home runs that made the difference in the ball game.
That ball's drilled deep to right field. Jordan Alvarez hits it out. Number 7 on the year. A line shot to right. It's 1-0 Astros. Drilled deep left field. Forget about it. Up on the train tracks. The 3 train has just left Union Station with a 2-run bomb, and the Astros lead 3-0. Now Montero facing the top of the order. Broken bat, slowly hit. Bregman will go to second for 1. Altuve the turn, double play. Montero gets out of a jam on a 3-1 pitch. Then he shatters the bat of Eugenio Suarez and completes the 4-pitcher shutout tonight.
Manager Scott Service says Odorizzi wasn't necessarily dominant. He just made the pitches when he needed to and kept Seattle's batters off balance.
He obviously threw a little bit, pitched us a little bit differently last time, and we kind of anticipated that might be happening. He threw a lot more cutters. It was effective. Give him credit. He got outs, and I thought we put some decent swings on him, but just not enough pressure, some softer outs, and didn't really make him work extremely hard. He had some easy innings, and he was allowed to, he got deep in the ball game for them. So, but really, the cutter was a key pitch for him tonight.
Seattle and Houston are going at it again today. Chris Flexen facing Christian Javier. Meanwhile, second-year pitcher Logan Gilbert was selected the American League Pitcher of the Month for April. The 6'6" right-hander is off to a stellar start, going 3-0 in the first month of the season.
And Logan Gilbert, how impressive. The command, the strikeout to walk ratio is insanely good.
He is insanely good again tonight.
Nasty pitch from Logan Gilbert. He comes right at you with that four-seam fastball, likes to throw the ball up in the zone and challenge the hitters.
And he has tremendous extension.
Being 6 feet 6 inches tall certainly helps. You can see he's lanky, got that pitcher's build, pitcher's frame, and he maximizes it, trying to reach and hand the ball to the catcher.
Dirty stuff from Logan Gilbert.
He's given up 1 earned run in 3 starts.
Possible we hear about all the time. 96, 97 up in the strike zone. Man, it is electric.
Oh, he got him. He tied him up in knots.
Another fantastic outing for Mr. Logan Gilbert.
Strike 3. Got him with a breaking ball down and away. He is going to be a good one for a long, long time.
Logan will next take the mound when the Mariners return home at the end of this week when they face the Tampa Bay Rays in the first of a several-game series coming up this weekend at T-Mobile Park. Well, the spring sports season is winding down with a full slate of games on tap today in boys soccer. Early games have Brewster hosting Oroville, Tonaskett's taking on Okanagan, Liberty Bell visits Bridgeport, and Freitas is on the road at Ellensburg. Manson plays host to Pateras. Then tonight at 7, Eastmont's trying to snap a 2-game losing streak at West Valley. Meanwhile, Wenatchee is visiting Moses Lake. Moses Lake tries to rebound from a sweep at the hands of West Valley in baseball today with a road trip to Sunnyside. Other early games have Chelan at Quincy, Cascades hosting Cashmere, Okanagan's visiting Omak, Brewster's hosting Liberty Bell, and Waterville Mansfield playing at Bridgeport. Eastmont is just getting underway at Eisenhower. Also on the softball diamonds, Omak visits Okanagan for a fast-pitch softball doubleheader. Moses Lake is a non-league game on the road to Richland today. Eastmont's got a makeup game for that snow out from a couple of weeks ago against Ephrata. Cashmere is visiting Cascade, while Waterville Mansfield is at Bridgeport. That's a look at sports news. I'm Eric Grandstrom. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much. And now let's check in with our friend Dan Kuntz for a look at what's coming up tomorrow morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thanks, Grant. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Winning Wednesday returns once again. It's a Wenatchee Valley tradition. Since 2021, every Wednesday morning we give some cool prize away. Tomorrow will be your chance to win tickets to see the Hell on Hooves Rodeo Saturday night at the Town Toyota Center. You want to be a winner? There's 2 ways to go about it. Have that kind of attitude and watch tomorrow's Wake Up Wenatchee Valley for a Winning Wednesday, tomorrow morning live and local at 7 a.m. And Grant, I'll see you at the park, and back to you.
Thank you very much, Dan. And that's going to do it for our newscast from the Washington State Apple Blossom Festival tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. Along with Eric Grandstrom, I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us, and have a great night.
Watch Vibrant Living, brought to you by the Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center. Find out about programs and activities for ages 50 and over, and meet amazing seniors who contribute to our community. New episodes Sundays at 1:30 p.m., replayed throughout the week on the NCWLIFE channel. Get your body moving. Tune in for Vibrant Motion, featuring low-impact aerobics hosted by Connie Townsend. These workouts are great for all ages. Vibrant Motion, brought to you by the Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center, weekdays on the NCWLIFE channel.
NCWLIFE really does a great job of exposing our brand. It's a little scary at first, right? You're just throwing money out there hoping it comes back. And to see those results come back through and see people walk through the door and say, hey, saw your TV advertisement. Those are the kinds of things that you see the return on. And when you look at the cost spent, you know you're making a return on it. There's a huge market here and market potential, and they are a great avenue for that.